Hello and welcome to this demonstration video on livestock mob setup and inputs planning. Today I'm going to be taking you through the steps to set up some livestock mobs and also do some inputs planning for those mobs for the coming season. So the first step in this process is just making sure that you are on the latest version of Backpaddock Advisor so that you have access to the livestock functionality that you're going to need. So this is version 11. And if you are using Web Connect to access Backpaddock Advisor, you will already have that update installed for you automatically and you don't need to do anything. But if you're on a local install of the program, you just need to make sure that you have Advisor version 11 up here. You should get a prompt to update next time you open the program. But if you don't, you can also install the update by going to our website, so backpaddock.com.au, and then clicking on Products. Backpaddock Advisor on the left, download Advisor version 11, and then this second link here, click here to update an existing Backpaddock Advisor Manager installation. Just make sure that you're clicking the second one and not this first one to install the full program. Once you've downloaded the update, then you would just click to open it, and then the installation wizard will take you through the remaining steps. So now that you are on Backpaddock Advisor version 11, the next step is just to open and sync your master database to get access to all of the livestock products and mob details that you'll need. So you just click this symbol to open your master database. I'll just drag mine over. And then from here, you just need to go to Corner Post in the top toolbar and click Sync, this first symbol on the left. Once that sync completes, you'll get a prompt to say that it's complete, and you should then have access to these new livestock tables in here, which include everything that you'll need for your inputs planning, so animal health products, operations, production, your stock classes with some important information attached to them as well, your supplements and livestock suppliers. So once you've got access to those, you can go back into a client file that you want to set up some mobs in. And we're going to set up some mobs from the Farm tab up here, the same place that you set up your farms and paddocks. But to get into mob setup, we just need to click the symbol here for mobs. That will take us to this page. We just want to make sure that we're in the right year, so I'm setting up mobs for 2020. And then I'm just going to click this Add Mob button here and start putting in some information about my mobs. So my plan date, I'm going to put from the start of 2020. My mob name can include as much detail as I need. So I'm going to have a few different mobs here. All starting from the same time for the plan. And then also some bulls. And once I've set up all of my mobs, I can then add in the required stock classes in this mob detail section down the bottom. So I'm just going to click on this first mob and make sure it's selected, so it's got this black arrow to the left of it. And I'm going to go down here and add in a new mob class. And I just need to include details about the stock type, the stock class, how many of these I've got. The target average sale weight and the target disposal date don't relate to this mob because these are my breeding cows. So I'm just going to leave them blank, but I am going to put in a breed and also the purpose as breeding so the program knows what they're for. And I can put in an estimate of when I acquired them as well. The next mob will be the same, except these ones are for sale. So they're a little bit smaller. I'll make them weaners. I do want to put in target sale weight for these, and I'm going to aim to offload them later next year sometime. These ones are for sale, and I acquired them sometime in early 2018. If you've got mobs with multiple stock classes in them, you can add as many different mob classes as you need into each particular mob. So for example, for my bulls, maybe I've got a couple of different ages of bull in here. And then I've also got some younger ones, a bit smaller. And once I've added in all of the mob classes that I need for all of my mobs, then I am done with my mob setup. I'm now ready to do some inputs planning for these mobs. So to do that, I'm going to jump back over here to the Home tab where you do your crop planning as well. And it's a very similar process, but to get into the mobs, I'm just going to click this Livestock symbol in the top toolbar. And you can see here I've got the list of the mobs that I just added in. If I click on each of those, then I've got a list of all of the individual beasts here according to the number that I specified I had. If I've got any particular notes about those individual beasts, I can add them in here to this description section. That might be useful for my bulls, for example. But otherwise, I can do inputs planning on a whole mob level from these other tabs here. So for my cows, for example, I might want to add in some animal health products for the season. Maybe do some worming at some point. Should be in mils. That's going to calculate the required automatically for me. I'll just specify what it's for, and we might do that at weighing, which we'll do early in the year. And then I also might want to add in some supplements in the same way. So you're just using this add supplement button. That might be required a little bit of extra nutrition around joining. Cost for those. The unit is going to be in kilograms. The dose I think works out at about 0.8 for each of them. And then I'm just going to put that in for 1 day because it's going to be in there for a few days, but I only need to apply it once. And I'll just give an estimate of when that should be given. So once I've added in all the details and all of the animal health products, the supplements, the associated operations that I want to for that stock class, then I have my inputs plan. I may want to use the Livestock Scenario Manager tool to copy all of this information into a scenario so that I can apply it to other mobs within this client file or within other client files as well. So to do that, the first thing I need to do as a one-off step is just set myself up with a Livestock Scenario file so that I can load scenarios into that file. So I go up here to Livestock Scenario Manager and I click on this arrow to get into that manager. You will only have probably a cropping scenario file in this scenario manager if you're doing this for the first time. So you just need to set up a separate livestock scenario file. To do that, you just go up here to File and then New Scenario File. Give it a name and make sure it's descriptive so you know that it's separate from your cropping scenario file. And then you would just click Save. So once that's done and you've got your livestock scenario file set up, you can start adding in some livestock scenarios, and to do that I would just go up here and load this selected class to scenario. I'm going to assume these are my Angus cows 2020 plan, and then OK. And then I can add that scenario into other mobs. So if I also wanted to add the same thing for my heifers, then I would just select this scenario from the drop down. As you can see, it's already in here, and then add scenario to my selected mobs. Yes. And then I've got this same livestock inputs plan automatically added in for my heifers. Once I'm done with all of my inputs planning for this season, I can view all of those with a monthly input report from the Reports tab up here. So once you've installed the update to Advisor 11, you'll now have this Livestock Monthly Input Report option on the left. If I click on that one to load, you can see that I've got the 2 mobs that I've added in a plan for coming up here on the left. And the plan for them is broken down by month so that I know what needs to be done throughout the year at the start of each month. And then all of the required details for what needs to be applied listed out there. I can print that report or export it so that I can email it through to whoever needs to see it. So that's my inputs plan done. The only thing that I also need to do is just make sure that I sync my files so that if I'm going into Optera to do some feed budgeting, I've got all of this livestock information available to me. You will notice that with the update to Advisor version 11, your files are going to sync whenever you close them. So if I click this close button to close the whole program down, or if I go to File and then Close, my file is going to sync automatically. And once that's done, that information will be available for use in Optera for the feed budgeting, and I am done with my mob setup and also with my inputs planning. So if you've got any questions or you need any further help with that process, please feel free to give us a call on the help desk or send us an email to support@backpaddock.com.au.